Welcome to my channel where we cover the lore of video games. We cover all kinds from the mainstream to the indie, so I hope you enjoy your stay, and welcome to the Chronicler of Lore. While the Empire and the Republic have formed some type of truce, the Sith, in the midst of all their usual plotting and scheming, have started sending some of their slaves to Korriban to dig up and track down some of the lost relics of ancient Sith, as well as to bolster their army by scooping up any slaves that may be strong in the Force. One slave that has a lot of potential has been released from captivity and sent to the Sith Temple to either gain the power required to join the ranks of the Dark Lords, or die. And that's where your journey begins. When you land on the planet, you meet Harken, the man responsible for introducing the new recruits to their new lives as Sith in training, and he's responsible for testing them to see if they're worthy. He also gets to kill the ones who aren't, because the Sith do things in a very not smart way. He's doing all of this under the orders of Lord Zash, who wants him to find her a worthy apprentice out of your group. None of your trials are the same, and for some reason Harken has an extra bit of disdain for you, so your test will probably be harder than most. For your first trial, he wants you to go and talk to a hermit named Spindrel, who lives out in the tomb of Ajunta Paul in the Valley of the Dark Lords. The man's insane, but anyone who would live in the tomb of a dead Sith Lord has to be, but Zash thinks he's a bit of a prophet, so you have to go and meet him. When you find him, the man will test you in whatever random way he decides. If you pass, Harken wants you to come back to the academy for test number 2. Granted, he really seems to be hoping that you don't make it back at all, so you head off to find this hermit and prove to the man that you won't die that easily. Spindrel knows why you're there, but before he's willing to teach you anything, he wants you to pass a trial of blood. In other words, he has a few of his people try to kill you. When you prove that you're the better fighter by ending all of their living, Spindrel deems you worthy of learning the Code of the Sith, which are the tenets that all Sith have to live by if they want to gain true power. While Jedi teach their students not to give in to their emotions, the opposite is true for the Sith. Fear, anger, hatred, and the like make you stronger, and Spindrel wants you to use your fear and hatred of Harken to get strong enough to overcome whatever he throws at you. That way you can get Lord Zash's attention. Whether Harken likes you or not is irrelevant. You only have to impress Zash. When you get back to the academy, Harken isn't exactly happy that Spindrel didn't just kill you. But since he didn't, that means you passed your test. Another apprentice named Corey didn't, so Harken does the only logical thing that you do to a student who fails a test, and that's electrocute her to death. After his bout of casual murder, Harken introduces all of the remaining students to Fawn, the man that he says is Lord Zash's future apprentice. He's obviously picked his favorite, but his job requires him to at least pretend like the rest of you have a chance, so he gives you all your next trial. The trial that was picked for you was set up by Zash personally. She wants you to go to Inquisitor Zen in the prison and help him with a little bit of information extraction. That's the polite way of saying torture. Recently, there was an unsanctioned murder at the academy due to a rivalry between students. Killing other students is fine, but only during certain times, and this wasn't one of them, so the Inquisitor wants you to get his prisoner to tell him who committed the murder. It doesn't take much to get the prisoner to talk. He's scared that if he snitches, he'll get killed, but after hitting him with a bit of lightning, he realizes that maybe getting killed for being a rat is better than definitely getting killed for trying to keep information from you. The murderer turns out to be the apprentice of one of the members of the Dark Council, so not even the Inquisitor is crazy enough to try to punish him, so that means the snitch is screwed. But you pass your trial, which is all that matters, so you head back to Harken to get your next one, as well as whatever threats he decides to throw at you this time. Zen sent word of your success, and Harken isn't all that happy to admit that Zash is happy with what he said about you. Now the Sith Lord wants to test both you and Fawn's intelligence to see how well the two of you can use the Force to solve problems. But you won't have the same test because Harken has no intention of letting this contest be fair. He's sending Fawn to the library to translate some ancient writings for Zash, while he wants you to go to the tomb of the Sith Lord Mark Aragnos and get his holocron. Aside from the fact that all of the tombs are super dangerous, no one has managed to even move the holocron from the spot where it's been sealed away for over 1,000 years. So again, Harken is trying his best to make sure that you fail. The holocron doesn't take as much effort to get as Harken made it sound like it would, which means it either wasn't as special as the man claimed, or you're more special than even you are aware of. Either way, you bring it back to Harken without getting any of the praise that you should have. He even goes so far as to accuse you of bringing back a fake, even though he doesn't believe that himself. While you did pass your trial, another of the apprentices didn't, but instead of killing him himself, he has Fawn do it this time. He did it in a way that was supposed to intimidate you, but killing someone who was too scared to even fight back isn't exactly impressive. Since that didn't make you want to quit, Harkon gives you your next test. Lord Zash wants some writing from the tomb of Tulak Horde, so once again you're being sent into one of the very dangerous tombs of a fallen Sith. The place is just as dangerous as you'd expect, but you get what you came for and head back to Harkon. Before you get to talk to the Teacher of the Year, you run into Lord Zash herself. She's impressed with what you've done, especially with you getting that holocron, and she's excited to see what you manage to do in the future. Once you hand over the notes that you got from the tomb and Harkon and Fawn insult and threaten you a bit, he sends you to the Academy's training facility because he thinks you're a terrible fighter and needs a bit of work. That sounds a bit suspicious since he hasn't given you any training, so he doesn't know if you can fight or not, but you follow orders and head off. Turns out Harkon had sent 2 other apprentices up there so they could sneak you, but the fact that you survived the dangers of the tombs of the Sith makes cutting them down nothing more than a bit of light work. Harkon had expected you to be dead, but since you're not, that means you and Fawn are the last 2 apprentices left. This time the 2 of you will be working on completing the same task, one that Harkon gave the other man a head start on because he's been trying to make him win from jump. There's a map hidden in the center of Nagasato's tomb, and that's what you're supposed to recover. The thing is, no one has ever even figured out how to get inside of the room. To get the map, you'll have to wake up an ancient creature called a Dashad. There's no way to get to the map without it, but the thing eats Force users, so there's a good chance it'll try to kill you once you wake it up. But whichever apprentice gets the map will become Zash's apprentice, and with Fawn having a head start, you had better get going. Before you head out, Zash shows up and she has some information that she found in those papers that you gave her. It tells how to get to the map, and since Harkon tried to cheat by letting Fawn get a head start, he's not there when Zash tells you the trick to freeing the Dashad, which she thinks was actually Tulak Horde's personal assassin that he sealed away. With what Zash told you, you open the door to the Dashad and come face to face with the not-so-tiny creature. The thing actually isn't some mindless beast. Its name is Kimval, and it wasn't a prisoner at all. It was following Tulak Horde's orders and waiting there like his master told him to. He's not all that happy to see you since he thinks you showing up there is some type of insult to him. He had no idea how long he'd been in stasis, but hearing that you don't even know about the many battles that Tulak Horde won doesn't do much to improve Kimval's mood. Either way, he's hungry, and he plans on eating you. Once you prove that you're too strong for him to eat while he's in his weakened state, he decides that he has to serve you, at least until he's strong enough to eat you. So with your new ginormous friend in tow, you head deeper into the tomb to retrieve the map. It's guarded by a very large something, which explains at least part of the reason why you needed the Dashad. Once the thing's dead, you get the map and head back to the temple. You walk in with the Dashad and the map just as Fawn is talking about how no one would be able to get that thing. Neither Harkon nor Fawn are happy to see either of you, but Harkon thinks he can play this to his advantage by just taking your map and letting Fawn give it to Zash. The fact that he assumed that you and your very large friend wouldn't fight him over that is hilarious, but you don't get the chance to because Zash shows up herself. Fawn tries to claim that he found the map for her, but since she already knows that's BS, he admits that he didn't. For that, and for the fact that Harkon tried to force her to pick the apprentice he wanted, she kills Fawn and tells you to meet her in her office so you can accept your place as her new apprentice. She already has work for you, and it involves the map that you found, but she won't talk about it at the academy. Too many people are always trying to listen in, so she wants you to meet her in her quarters on the planet Droman Kas. That's where she'll tell you what's coming next, and as a parting gift, she gives you her first lightsaber and heads off. Apparently, a Dark Lord named Darth Scotia doesn't want whatever Zash is planning to happen, because he sent some people to kill you to keep you from ever going to Droman Kas. You test out your new lightsaber on them and head off to see just what kind of mess your new master has gotten you into. And that's where we're going to stop for today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Donate to the channel if you can, and I'll see you all next time.